Today, I'm going to bring you something a little different. Normally, I would just do a written Steam review, but I wanted to test the waters with a video review. This is my review for Breakpoint. Breakpoint is a twin-stick slasher released on Nintendo Switch and on PC, for Windows, Linux, and Mac. Rather than shooting your enemies, you bash them with melee weapons. It's an interesting twist on what we're used to, and it does it extremely well. Graphics and art style wise, this game looks great. The background is just that, being a nice and clean backdrop to the action without being up in your face. The colors of the enemies pop and contrast nicely to the background. You'll also notice that the enemies and environment pulses with the music, really helping to bind the music to the game. If you don't like the bloom, camera shake, or beat effects, you can always turn them down in the settings for a much clearer picture, or if you're a rebel, turn them all the way up for some eye-watering color overload. In terms of sound design, it is fantastic. The music also fits the game well without sounding like a generic electronic tune. You can tell a lot of care was put into how the game feels, from its graphics and sound. Over to gameplay, the controls feel absolutely great, whether you're using a controller or a keyboard and mouse. With the quick speed and snappy responsiveness of your drone, you have much better control over your movement compared to other twin-stick games. The game mode is very simple. Survive as long as you can with 3 lives. When you die, you lose a life and your multiplier is reset. The further you last, the harder it becomes with increasingly more and varied enemies. There are 12 different enemies, with some that die in one hit, others that take multiple hits before dying, ones that fire projectiles, the list goes on. Some enemies will drop multipliers to pick up, and all enemies will drop white orbs, which I'll explain their purpose a little later. In terms of weapons, you have 5 different types: axe, dagger, hammer, lance, and sword. You start with the axe, with the other weapons dropping randomly throughout the match, and you have to pick them up if you want to switch to them. You have a light, heavy, and throw attack. When using a weapon, you have different charge levels. Getting a higher and higher level buffs your weapon. Charge level is increased by picking up those white orbs enemies drop after being killed. Once you reach a charge level of 1, you can throw your weapon and you have a break meter. A light attack uses 1 bar of the break meter, while a heavy attack uses 2 bars. Once it explodes, your charge level is reset. If you throw a weapon without it breaking, the charge level is also reset. All of this combines to make a very exciting and fast gameplay experience that has more depth than you would expect. This is also helped by the fact that you have a leaderboard with replays. So, you want to see how the heck did that person get 4 million points? Well, you can click on their leaderboard listing and view how they did it. It's a nice way to learn without having to rely on YouTube. However, if there is one thing I can fault this game on, is a lack of content. There is only 1 game mode in 1 arena. They took the same approach as the first Geometry Wars game, as that only had 1 arena with 1 game mode. I understand that with having a small number of developers, some of those key features, like multiplayer, would be out of the question. However, not even having a different game mode is disappointing. Previously in their demo, they had a time limit. What's the reason we couldn't have a timed mode with infinite lives and different spawning for enemies? There is a reason why I played Geometry Wars 2 over the original, because of the multiple game modes it provided that helped to break up the monotony the first game suffered from. Even in their spin-off title, Geometry Wars Galaxy, it had multiple arenas and power-ups to choose from. Don't get me wrong here, Breakpoint is just as fun and addicting as the other twin-stick games I played, but I think it should have came out of the gate swinging more. Whether that means we'll get free updates, DLC, or a sequel, I hope the developers can expand on this great foundation to bring us more of Breakpoint. Thanks for watching, and have a nice day.